With the rumors of Evil Dead 4 poking about still, I always feel the urge to read up about them on the forums. Even though those people who started the rumor are full of bull hockey, it still gives me a small glimmer of hope. Evil Dead was a classic movie where the hero fought against the undead even though with the loss of his friends and his loved one, which was very refreshing and different at the time instead of having the hero or heroine trying to outrun or escape the enemy. There are currently 4 Evil Dead video games that have been published, and I'm going to review each one of them. The first one that was ever released was The Evil Dead as its title, and it was published in 1985 on the Commodore 64 system. The music, as you first hear, is looped throughout the entire game, and it sounds like someone belting your skull with a flute tied to a taser. It really gets annoying after the first 10 minutes of the game, and there's no way to turn off the music unless you mute your TV set. This game actually has an introduction and also a tutorial. This is very refreshing since very few games back in the Commodore 64 era actually had any type of instructions. Normally you get a piece of paper with the storyline and very little amount of information how to play the game. Back in the Commodore 64 era, you actually needed a lot of common sense, a lot of imagination, and a lot of guessing to actually win the game. Now when you do the tutorial, it actually takes weeks to actually read with the whole slow scroll speed. It actually feels like you've been there for a month watching this shit. The storyline is, Ash and his buddies go deep in the woods and found and read the book of Necronomicon that have woken the undead. Well, they're not really the undead for this game, it's more of mutants, so the tutorial says. After a while collecting points, the Book of the Dead appears and you must destroy it by putting it in the fire, which is no way relevant to the actual movie. But that's what parodies are like. The game idea is that you control Ash, who is the white guy with the white shoulders. Yeah, I always believed that Ash should wear white clothes, and it seems that he's lost half of his white hair also. But anyway, you start outside the house. You go around the house waiting for your grey buddies to get turned into green monsters by the yellow dust clouds. Or you can shut the doors and delay the attack, but in most cases it's just a waste of time since you don't get any points for saving your friends. To gain points, you must face off your enemies and kill them by pressing the attack button until they turn into a dust cloud, and then their limbs will spawn around you and you have to destroy those as well. Each step you take, you lose energy, and to add pickle juice to your crotch area, if you attack a monster also, you will lose health. So you're really forced to have a really short play period, and you have to be very tactful from the start in order to save up your energy points. When you run out of energy, you will die. But you get 3 lives, so if you waste 3 lives, it's game over. So as you can tell, the game is completely different than the actual movie, because you would never actually expect Ash to fall over and die just because he runs out of energy, or he's just swung too many times. Anyway, back to losing energy every time you take a step. Well, if you run into a wall and you keep running into that wall, you actually keep on losing energy, which pisses me off so much because you're trying to keep away from the monsters so you can actually kill you, but the controls are so clumsy, and if the monsters attack you also, you can only go one direction away from them, and it's completely random at all times. Now, from the storyline, it's supposed to be a total of 5 people in there. That's Ash and his other friends. The weird thing is, though, after the grey buddies get possessed, they seem to respawn after a while. So, basically, you're always going to have those buddies walk around the house. The one major thing that's really annoying about the grey buddies is that the fact that if you shut the door to keep the enemy out, your grey buddies will actually flung their body against the door till it opens up. Never in my life I had to worry about if my friends would come over to visit, they will throw their bodies against the door just because it was shut. I mean, there is a thing called a doorknob. Apart from them bashing open the doors, they're pretty much harmless until they get attacked by the yellow sand cloud and then they get turned into those monsters. But if you decide to attack them when they're in the normal human grey form, that will take your energy away, and the monsters don't give 2 donkey craps about them if they're grey or not. Now, the weapons that you see laying around on the screen, such as the sword, the shovels, some stick, and a bunch of other crap, well, they only just produce a little bit extra damage to your damage, but they do break after a few swings, but they do help you from losing a bit more health. The game is pretty hard and controls are very sucky, especially since you can't go diagonally. The major issue that you're going to have this game is trying to close the doors. If you're not correctly on the spot, you will not be able to close the doors. Also, if you close the doors, you cannot open the door until it breaks or expires over X amount of time. I've been playing this game for like 4 hours straight.